Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glared, the bunkers dig in air, gave proof to the night that the flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hello and happy Friday to all of you out there, wherever you are and whenever you may be watching. Tonight's WKMC TV broadcast is a Heartland Athletic Conference Division III matchup sponsored by Catino Vino, featuring the visiting Bloomsburg Panthers and the Mount Carmel area Red Tornadoes. My name's Jim Lesko. Alongside me is my brother Dan Lesko. Jose Gonzalo supports us from the sideline, and together we're coming to you live from the Jazz Diminick Field at the Silver Bowl on a picture-perfect fall evening here in northeastern Pennsylvania, in the heart of the coal region, Mount Carmel, where the Red Tornadoes, Dan, they had a rough week last week.
Yeah.
Last week, the Red Tornadoes held to a mere 7 points by a very stingy Milton Black Panther defense.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking for Mount Carmel to bounce back tonight, the good news is that last week was the first time since 2020
Wow.
that the Red Tornadoes offense was held to a single-digit scoring output. The bad news, though, is that the last time that happened, it was at the hands of the guys on the other side of the field tonight, the Bloomsburg Panthers.
Oh, yeah, Jim. And that was the 2020. The Red Tornadoes did lose that game. I believe it was 21-7 was the final. 26-7, right? But you're right. I mean, I think the Red Tornadoes probably came into this week, Jim, doing a lot of soul searching. Yeah, you know, after the offense kind of, it seemed like after last week, the offense didn't have its identity. You know, they really couldn't figure it out. Weren't able to get the things going through the air as they had been able to do through the first 3 weeks. Weren't able to get things going on the ground as they like to do. So I'm hoping the hope for the Red Tornadoes this week is that they can kind of get their mojo back on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of fireworks tonight, Dan. I mean, we had some literal ones at the start there, right, as we do every Friday night.
Yeah.
But certainly within the field of play, it's a big night here at the Silver Bowl. As you see the banners in the north end zone there, that's part of the homecoming parade that happened tonight. It is homecoming here. There's youth football all over the place. It's a great environment. And that excitement, I'm very confident, is going to translate into on-field excitement. And I think when you talk about this, we almost have to take last week and do what Coach Dara talked about, which is put it aside.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You got to get rid of it and get back to it. And if you go and you look at what happened in the 3 weeks before that,
yeah.
The offensive output coming out of this Red Tornado squad was astonishing.
Yeah, and I mean, it's crazy to even be able to say that it was astonishing after last year. Last year's Red Tornadoes offense was the most productive Red Tornadoes offense in the history of this franchise, you know. So to say that they kind of picked up right where they left off last year, they had done that in the first 3 weeks. Last week was the first real regression that we saw. And, you know, it was all over the ball. The defense, though, I mean, if we want to talk about positives from last week, defense holding a tough Milton Black Panther team to 12 points. Gave the Red Tornado offense every opportunity to stay in that game all the way to the end.
Yeah, that's a defense. So, to your point, Dan, 12 points last week.
Yeah.
The 6 points given the week prior to the Warrior Run defenders were really late in the game. And,
Yeah.
and a lot of the starters, those first team, had already come to the sideline.
Yep.
The 7 points the week before to the Dunmore Bucks was a kickoff return for a touchdown.
Right.
So you're really looking at between weeks 1 and 4.
Yeah.
Really, 2 and 3, the defense was stout. And again, even 12 points, like you said last week. I think I saw in one of the papers, it might have been the Sunbury Daily Item, the comment was, if you'd have told Coach Dara last Thursday that on Friday night his team was going to give him 12 points to Milton, everybody would have thought, oh, that's a big Mount Carmel win.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I mean, as a head football coach, that you can't ask much more from your defense, you know, especially going on the road, playing against another team who was going into the game at 2-1. You feel pretty confident if you're only going to give up 12 points, you're going to get a victory. And unfortunately, the Milton Black Panthers defense was a little bit stingier, but now we'll see this Red Tornado team look to bounce back this week.
And you see the teams come out for the coin toss. For the Bloomsburg Panthers, it's going to be number 1, the quarterback Wyatt Brocious, 48, Cole Davis, number 66, Thomas Klingerman, and 88, Jackson Lunger. For the Red Tornadoes on their side, you'll have the 3 standard captains of Reed, Spears, and Schultz. And then tonight's game captain is going to be number 17, Orville Fesniak. Again, you can hear the band. It's such a cool environment tonight.
Yeah, things are a little bit different here to start the game, but it's definitely an exciting environment.
Red Tornadoes win the toss. They'll defer to the second half. So we'll see Brocious and company first as they'll elect to receive.
And Jim, talking about Brocious and company, I mean, looking at the numbers that Brocious put up last week. Last week they won 43-14 against Midwest, and he was lights out. I mean, 21 of 30 passing, 350 yards, 5 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. That's a pretty good day. That's a good month in high school football, realistically. And I mean, that was the majority of their offense. I mean, they didn't have their biggest rusher was Cole Davis with 4 carries for 52 yards and a touchdown, but they didn't need it. They did all their work through the air. So they run sort of a spread offense. So it'd be something to keep an eye on this week. I'd be willing to bet that Brocious is going to put the ball in the air pretty frequently again.
And interestingly enough, you know, we talked a lot about this last season. The Red Tornadoes, their offensive output, especially running the ball, and I'm going to give a number here, and I might be wrong. At one point, I feel like they had, you know, like 10 guys with 100 yards rushing on the season, and 15 guys that had a touch. It was something wild.
Very much so.
And you look now at a lot of the offense's output is kind of concentrated in a few guys. If you look at the Panthers, for instance, especially through the air, they have, I think I counted, they have like 6 guys. 6 guys with at least 5 catches and another one with 4.
Yeah.
So Brocious kind of spreads the ball around, so there's not one guy for this talented Red Tornado secondary to key on.
Yeah, you're right about that, Jim.
So now we're about to get started here. Shoppy will be kicking to, looks like Shearer and Whedon. It's going to be short. Taking around the 25 and won't get too much further than that. It'll be 1st and 10 Panthers at the 31-yard line.
Yeah, so we'll see this Panthers offense that was very tough last week against Midwest on the field here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Brocious try to put the ball in the air here early and often.
Yeah, with Brocious and Davis and company out there, as you said, Dan, it's a young squad. Brocious just a sophomore out there, and a quick pass to Kaludis for a gain of a couple.
Yeah.
Catullus, excuse me.
No, yeah. And you know, we talked about Catullus, and unfortunately for Catullus, he has a pretty, he's got 19 catches, so make that 20 catches now in the year. 108, he's leading the team in receiving yards, but he's the only one without a score. So I think if I'm Coach Kogan, I'm going to be pressing to try and get him one this week.
So they'll stay 4 wide for the Panthers with stacked receivers on both sides, and they throw a quick kind of an inside slant to Lunger, falls incomplete, so it's going to be 3rd and 8.
Yeah, and again, good job by the Red Tornado defense there. I think even if Lunger was able to pull that one in, there wasn't really anywhere for him to go. Maddox Reed was bearing down on him from that outside linebacker spot.
And you see here now, the Red Tornadoes, as we've seen them do, they'll go into more of a coverage defense here on 3rd and long. Shimko came to the sideline. Fesniak replaced him for an extra linebacker, excuse me, an extra defensive back. But Schultz comes up heavy, and it's going to be Belichick. Matt Belichick will drag Brocious down for a loss on the play. It'll bring up 4th and 11.
Yeah, and we'll see the Red Tornado defense does a really good job of kind of turning the Panthers away here to start things off early here in this first quarter.
It's really going to be Belichick's 4th sack on the season already. So
wow,
we'll talk about that Mount Carmel pass rush as the night goes on, but certainly Belichick a big component there. Schulman punting to Kimzel and Diaz. It's a low liner. It's going to bounce. We'll see if Kimzel picks it up. He gets it on a hop. He's going to try to get up the sideline. Does a good job fighting out near midfield. It'll be out around the 49-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, real nice job there by Kimzel, Jim. You said he kind of had to work to the sideline right away. Made a guy miss, stayed in bounds, and then put his shoulder down to finish that return off. And give the Red Tornadoes really good starting field position here, knocking on the door of Panther territory already.
Yeah, the nose of the football on the midfield line, so a little better than I thought even. But the Red Tornadoes will do what we've seen them do this season. They'll stay open. It'll be Schultz and Diaz to the left, Belichick to the right. Spears has Blessing in the backfield. He's going to look for Belichick right away for a 1st down. The ball's on time and on target.
Yeah, and you see here's that hurry-up offense. Belichick gets the ball to the official quickly and gets right back lined up where he needs to be.
And now the Red Tornadoes bring Schultz in, tighten him up a little bit. Belichick and Diaz will stack to the right. Diaz comes in motion. They hand it to him. He's going to try to get the edge. He's got Blessing out in front, and Bailey gets 2 good blocks. He'll get inside the 35 around the 33-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 3.
Yeah, that's a really nice run there by Diaz. Did a good job kind of getting inside, outside, and then just put his shoulder down and fought forward for a couple extra yards.
Back on the ball quickly. This time it'll be Spears. He keeps it himself, and he's up right through the heat. He puts the brakes on.
Ooh.
And has a defender blow right by him. And they'll get the 1st down and more. It looks like they're going to say it about the 13-yard line.
Yeah, I think that was Lunger was the one with the touchdown-saving tackle there. But really good job there by Spears, making some nice moves, turning that into a nice gain.
Butchick by himself to the wide side of the field. Still haven't seen a touch for Blessing. And almost on cue. Blessing's up. Blessing's in. Touchdown, 24, Luke Blessing from 13 yards out. It's 6-0 Mount Carmel with 9:18 remaining in the first quarter.
Yeah, that's a great job, Jim, by the Red Tornado offense. Just, you know, so balanced down the field. I mean, you get a completion to Belichick, a run by Diaz, a run by Spears, and then a run by Blessing to end the drive. You know, 4 plays, you move the ball 50 yards, and you put it in the end zone. That's what we expect to see from this Red Tornado offense.
Shoppy's kick is up and no good, so it'll stay 6-0. Again, we want to thank Catino Vino, tonight's sponsor. Again, another good reminder that it's homecoming, and another little note here that we have, Dan. We want to let everybody know we love the MCA Big Red Band. You can hear them, you see them all the time. Fantastic.
Yeah.
The MCA Big Red Band is running a cash bingo, $30 per ticket. It's going to be September 30th. The doors open at 12, and the bingo starts at 2 up at the Wilburton Hall Fire Company. So you want to get a hold of your local band member. Anybody you know that's in the band, associated with the band, get a hold of them. And they'll be able to help you out and get you one of those tickets ahead of time, so you save yourself a couple bucks. And always fun to support the band the way they support us and really provide the soundtrack to all your favorite Friday night memories. So Shoppy out here again, ready to kick off for the second time in as many minutes. Whedon and Scherer for the Panthers. It's going to be Whedon again coming forward at the 16. He's going to get up into what Dan likes to call the briar patch,
Yeah.
around the 30-yard line, maybe the 31.
Yeah, it looked like the first 1 or 2 there he caught was Tanner Karicki and number 21 and Johnny Morgani, number 30. But they were the first ones on scene, slowed him up. Good job finishing that one off there by the coverage team.
Notice, Dan, who was a Red Tornado, who was huge in week 1, was injured week 2 and 3, came back last week and had to step away again, a little banged up, but number 44, Ryan Widener, back out there. And again, we talk about that ferocious Red Tornado pass rush. He's certainly part of it. And this time, the Panthers will hand it off to Davis off the right side. He'll be met by another part of that pass rush, and number 9, Max Karicki.
Yeah, not really much doing there for Davis up the middle against this Red Tornado defense.
See Brocious and company, they'll take a look at the wristbands, figure out what we got to do here. Looks like it's going to be, that's Brocious. He's going to look, and he's looking for Lunger, excuse me. It's incomplete. He's under pressure from Reed. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Yeah, he had to get that out a lot earlier than he would have liked to, and that throw, unfortunately, behind Lunger. So now, again, Jim, you see, like you said, we get in a 3rd and long situation here. Put the speed rush in there on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I really appreciate the kind of the situational awareness. Again, it's not always something you see, kind of defensive packages like this at the high school level.
Right.
Brosh is going to throw, and he's got a laser, and that's Haran. And Haran's now he's in a foot race. Belichick might have an angle. Here comes Miller. They're going to drop him inside the 15, but a huge gain of about 53.
Wow. And yeah, Jim, I mean that was all the Panthers needed was just a little bit of room. Brocious put the ball in the perfect spot, and just a great job there. Haran got kind of the inside release, and once you get that inside release, all the quarterback has to do is put it on you, and you box out your defender, and then just make a guy or two miss, and you turn it into a big play. Good job by Haran, and good job by Brocious putting it on him.
Catullus comes in motion. Brocious to throw again. He's going to fling it out. Good stick by Schultz. Pass falls incomplete, was a little high.
Yeah, really good job there. Schultz looked like he had a beat on that one the whole way. But the Panthers looking to go a little bit of tempo. They're not taking much time getting off the ball and putting that ball in the air. And as I say that, it seems like they slow down a little bit here. You know, every time they like to prove me wrong here.
The big play was a gain of 56. Now we're going to get a false start against the Panthers. So 2nd and 10 will become 2nd and 10 at the 12, goes to 2nd and 15 at the 17.
Yeah, I mean, after that big play, you don't want to be moving backwards. You're inside the red zone here. You don't want to be taking those penalties that could be avoided. So,
but it was interesting, and we'll have to pay attention as the night goes on, Dan. But even in that 3rd and long situation, we'll pause as Brocious rolls to his left. He's going to float it out there, and he finds Lunger. A good job of adjusting the ball.
And I mean, a great throw by Brocious. He's running at full speed to his left, and he kind of just sidearmed through the zone. So really good job of throwing off base, not needing to set his feet.
Picked up 6 to get it to 3rd and 9, but on those 3rd and long situations, while the Red Tornadoes were bringing an extra defensive back in, everybody was right up on the line.
Yeah.
They're about 5 yards off the line at most. And so Horan was able to kind of break that. And Brocious' 3rd down pass will fall incomplete at the feet of Lunger, excuse me. And now I think the Panthers are going to kick, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, you see that big personnel change, so I think you're right.
Justin Pegg comes through with the block. Now again, just be careful here if you're the Red Tornadoes, because Brady Horan's the holder. It's going to be a 29-yard field goal attempt for Pegg. It's a good snap. It's a good hold. It's blocked. Red Tornadoes block it now. They're going to fight for the ball. And a good job by Pegg of diving on it, but the Red Tornadoes block a lot of kicks, Dan.
Yeah, they do. They do. I mean, there's a lot of pressure coming off both the edge and up the middle. Was that Shimko?
Well, what's funny about that?
Because it looked like Diaz was the one that went all out.
Shimko's going to get the block on that because that's who the football hit. But Diaz might have overrun it. Like we talk about how fast he is all the time, and I think he got there too quick. Spears the throw again. He floats it out to Bailey, and Bailey will be dropped immediately by Brocious. So a nice tackle after a short gain.
Yeah, so we'll see this Red Tornado offense, and again, I mean, they're trying to go tempo, trying to go pace, and you know, Bailey comes up hobbled a little bit there, so they're going to swap him with Max Karicki, and they're going to go back tight.
Yeah, the shotgun double wing of years past, and it's Diaz again. Oof. And Diaz had a tunnel there, but a nice job of tripping him up. That looks like it was number 61, Hunter Collette.
Yeah, you're right about that, Jim. Every time you see him in any sort of space, you see him kind of get through that initial line, you think that he's gone for good. But good job by Collette making that tackle there, because I think if he wouldn't have, Diaz had a lot of room to run.
Well, we talked about Diaz's yards per carry a lot over the last few years. Good example was against Bloomsburg last year. He had 5 carries for 78 yards.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Pretty good numbers.
Now he comes in motion. He stops and goes the other way. They'll float it out to him. He gets a good block from Belichick. He'll have the 1st down, but a nice sure tackle made by Lunger before Diaz could break it anymore.
Yeah, because usually you see Diaz get in the open field and you see him hit that 2nd gear as he did there. Look at the great angle there we had from the sideline camera. That was perfect. But yeah, you see him kind of hit that 2nd gear like he does, and there's not usually too many people stopping him, but you're right. The angle was perfect there. Lunger and Davis, coming from the inside linebacker spots, both made a really good read there and did a good job.
Diaz and Karicki to the sideline. Lukoski and Fesniak in there, and Spears goes straight back under pressure from Davis. He rolls to his right, and he hits Belichick with a laser. Just a ball thrown where only Belichick can get it, and Belichick, as he always does, finding the official. Let's get back on the ball.
And that's a great catch by Belichick. That's all hands. I mean, what Brocious was bearing down on him, he didn't go down. He just caught that, made sure he stayed in bounds, and then took his small step out. But really good job there by Belichick, and great job by Spears feeling that pressure and getting outside the pocket.
Should specify it's number 1, Chase Belichick.
Right.
The sack artist on the other side is number 2, Matthew. Now Blessing trying to pick his way, and he does. And now Blessing shows off the speed. What a piece of running by number 24. His second carry of the night is his second touchdown of the night. This one from 47 yards out, and it's 12-0 Red Tornadoes.
And Jim, this is something that we hadn't seen happen from Blessing so far this year. We've seen him do it in years past.
Watch this replay.
Yeah. I mean, everybody take a good look at this here. I mean, look at just finding the crease, making guys miss. The patience and the field vision is incredible. You know, we've talked about his field vision throughout the year, finding the crease, the inside, and then getting outside, doing what he had to do to kind of work hard to get his runs done. But that was just a great job all around there by Blessing.
And now the Red Tornadoes, haven't missed the extra point, will go for 2, and that's stopped as well. So it'll remain 12-0. But Dan, what's interesting is, again, we talked a little bit about the struggles the Red Tornadoes had offensively last week at Milton.
Yeah.
All that considered, and it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
Blessing himself had a quote-unquote down day. And you know what a down day looks like in 2023 for Luke Blessing? 19 carries for 79 yards.
Yeah.
Right?
And a touchdown.
And a touchdown, right? Yeah. That's not a down day for anybody else, but it just speaks to all the the explosiveness they've had so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's just the fact that Blessing has been the catalyst. I mean, you have Diaz, you have Spears, you have Schultz, but Blessing has been the kind of the consistency on that offense. When you need your 2-3 yards, you hand it to Blessing, and he's going to go and get it for you. And he works hard, pounding the rock up the middle. It's nice when he gets a chance to kind of get to the sideline and display that speed. That's almost you don't know he has it because he doesn't usually always get that opportunity to get out in the open field and show it off.
This time it's going to be Scherer from the 15. And it'll be hit hard. I think that's Morganti.
Yeah, Morganti.
Matt
Belichick was in
is
there.
going to get up off the bottom, but I think Morganti kind of laid the lumber.
Yeah, I think so.
Look at these. I feel like I'm on the sideline. The camera angles are phenomenal that we get in these games.
They're great. They really are.
As just a reminder, WKMC TV is your broadcaster tonight. It's a student-run TV studio here at the Mount Carmel Area School District. And tonight's sponsor is Catino Vino. So we'll see what the Panthers opt to do here again. The success they've shown so far has come through the air. I'd expect to see Brocious throw it again, as he does. And he's under pressure, so he's got to flip it out there in the direction of Catullus. Falls incomplete, as I think that was Miller.
Yeah.
Providing the harassment of Brocious.
Yes, it was. It was Miller right in Brocious' face there, making it difficult for him to do anything. But good job by Brocious. That's something. And Brocious, he's a sophomore, Jim. But he's got the wherewithal to kind of know that he's under pressure, get that ball out in the direction of a receiver to save the down, save himself from getting sacked. So that's a veteran play you see.
And he's got an empty backfield, so he's going to have to get rid of this quick. And he goes up top to Haran. Just off his fingertips. It's a good ball, but again, as we've said a lot this season, Dan, Lukoski was in his hip pocket with the coverage.
Yeah, you're right. Lukoski was in great coverage, but even still, I mean, that ball was in probably the perfect position for Haran to make a play on it if possible.
So once again, the Panthers will find themselves in a 3rd and long situation. Lineman tasked with getting to Brocious. Now Schultz comes off the edge, and it's a good ball, but incomplete. Trying to get it to Haran again in single coverage. It'll be 4th down.
And Jim, that was the same 3rd down play as the last drive for the Panthers, but that time Lukoski, I think, got there early enough to kind of separate Haran from the football, because Brocious went the same way to the same guy, and it was the same play, and it almost converted again.
It'll be Schumann to punt. It's a low snap. He does a good job fielding. He gets a nice punt out. Good. Went out of bounds a little bit earlier than perhaps I thought. And it'll be 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes inside Panther territory at the 44-yard line.
Yeah.
And if the "Here we go, Big Red" cheer sounds a little bit louder than normal, it's because the track has been taken over by all kinds of cheerleaders of all ages from the area. It looks awesome. It's just a great night here at the Silver Bowl.
Yeah, it really is, Jim.
Diaz comes in motion, and Spears is going to throw. He's under pressure, and he's looking for Schultz, and he almost had him, but a nice leap made by Whedon to just get a hand on the ball.
Yeah, really good job there by Whedon. I mean, you're right. It looked like Spears kind of put it in the area where Schultz could go and get it, but Whedon did a good job adjusting at the last minute and getting in between that football and Schultz.
Schultz will stay by himself to the short side of the field, and Spears goes that way immediately, and Schultz tries to change direction, slips a little bit, otherwise I think he might have been gone.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, still a first down on a nice pitch and catch.
Yeah, that's a really good job there. This Red Tornado offense just seems to be clicking on all cylinders right now. The pass game, the run game, everything looks like it's going to be difficult for the Panthers defense tonight.
This time it'll be Diaz. He's going to see if he can get the edge. Blessing trying to block two different guys over there to get him the corner, but the Panthers did a good job of moving laterally and cut off anywhere for Diaz to go after he picked up only 6.
Yeah, still gets 6 yards out of it, which is, I mean, fantastic. But you're right, Jim. I think it's going to be tough. The Panthers defense seems to move really well laterally, so it's going to be tough for anyone to get the edge. I think we're going to have to see, but you're right. Blessing did a really good job out in front of Diaz there.
You know, one thing I think that comes through on film and everywhere else when you watch this Panthers team, as it's Blessing, there's going to be a flag on the place in the location of offensive holding, so expect that one to come back. But one thing and that's what it is. But one thing you see about the Panthers, Dan, is they're not huge, right? They're not particularly big, but they're athletic.
Yeah.
They're quick, and it's a young team.
Yes.
So there's a lot to look forward to from the Panthers night in, night out now, and certainly in the future.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jim. This Panthers team is it's all around just a solid nucleus. It seems like, you know, they're not a big squad. They don't even numbers wise, they don't have a whole lot of numbers, but they've got a great group of athletes that can develop into a very, very dangerous football team in the coming years.
So the 10-yard penalty will take the ball back to around the 36-yard line. Red Tornadoes just give it to Diaz the other way. And there he is, and now he's going to show off the speed, and now it's going to be number 10's turn, Xavier Diaz, 36 yards out. It's 18-0 Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, and Jim, you said it wasn't going to take long for it to happen, and it finally did there for Diaz. I mean, it looked like he was poised to break one of those long ones. After his first couple carries, you could see he was just waiting to hit that next gear, and then he finally did and got into the open field and turned on the burners, and nobody was going to catch him.
Red Tornadoes will come out for their third PAT tonight. This time it's going to be Blessing, and that one's going to work. So Blessing will pick up the 2-point conversion. It'll be 20-0. Red Tornadoes with 3:47 left in the first quarter of this Division III matchup here of the Heartland Athletic Conference. And Dan, one thing we got to talk about because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Folks, you're at the Silver Bowl. We'll talk about it. It is a beautiful night here. It's a beautiful facility. We love the Silver Bowl. And what's better than being at the Silver Bowl? Being a part of the Silver Bowl. How can you do that? Part of the Red Tornado Legacy Brick Project, right? We're going to talk about the Brick Project, again, in the south end zone where the creature bleachers used to be. There's the 6-foot water jet red tornado, and it's surrounded by the traditional kind of 4x8-inch bricks, but also these 12x12-inch blocks. Now you can purchase those, you can get them engraved, you can get anything, whatever you're interested in getting on them. Go Big Red, your family's name, in memorial of a family member, whatever you're into. Go ahead and get that on there. Now here's the tricky part. You want to make this order soon because this project has been so successful. Let's see, Shoppy's kick will be taken by Sure again. Nice open field tackle made by Volichik. Excuse me, that's 21.
Tanner Kricky.
Cooper Kricky.
Yes.
Cooper Kricky. I thought
Yeah.
I just saw the 2 at first.
Yeah, sorry.
But again, so the brick project, there's an expansion. So there's only a few of the blocks left around the red tornado. If you want to get one of those or any at all, and you want to make sure that it's in the ground before the winter, you need to order by October 1st. So you're going to head out to www.redtornadofootball.com. You might have went there to find the stream for tonight's game. You're probably familiar with the website. Again, that's redtornadofootball.com. You scroll down, and on the right-hand side, you're going to see the link for the bricks. So go ahead and get that order form in before October 1st. Brocious will just flip it out there. Incomplete. It's really a throwaway. Nice job as Shimko was bearing down. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, a lot of pressure being provided from this Red Tornado defensive front. It doesn't seem like they're really sending too many blitzes. They're just getting pressure with their down 3 linemen, which is, I mean, if you're able to do that, your defense is going to be in pretty good shape.
So we'll see. 3:36 remaining in the first quarter. And it's Catullus. And he's going to run into Reed. Reed will start it. Widener will finish in it for a short gain.
Yeah, and that's a good job by Reed because, Catullus is a shifty guy out in space, and Reed does a good job breaking down and making a really good play there on the defensive side of the ball.
So once again, Panthers find themselves in 3rd and long. The Red Tornadoes will walk their corners up in some cases. But now you see Lukoski bail at the last minute. Defense shifts with the motion. And Brocious is going to look for that same route, but it's not there. He has to go immediately. And he's going to run into all kinds of red jerseys. It will drop him for, at best, no gain, maybe even a short loss, but it's going to be 4th down.
Yeah, and again, the first one on scene there was Shimko. And that's going to be another punt here that we're going to be seeing from the Panthers.
Schumann out there again. It was a low snap last time, but he did a good job fielding it. Diaz and Kimsel back for the Red Tornadoes, as expected. Red Tornadoes don't look like they're going to put on too much of a rush, and hardly any, really. And so Schumann will move to his right a little bit and get a punt out of bounds. Red Tornadoes should have pretty decent field position again to start here, and they will at the Panther 45.
Yeah, and again, Red Tornadoes starting another drive in Panther territory. That offense has been difficult to stop so far, and now you're going to give the Red Tornadoes another short field. It's going to be tough sledding here for the Panthers defense. Their offense kind of keeps putting them in tough positions.
Diaz motions across. Now we're going to get a false start against the Red Tornadoes. We'll back him up midfield, 1st and 15.
Yeah.
Red Tornadoes haven't done too much wrong in this first quarter.
No, just a couple penalties have really been the only thing that have had the Red Tornadoes offense moving in backwards, in the wrong direction. Just a couple penalties that haven't really cost them anything.
Spears the throw again. And now he's going to go up top. He's got Diaz. And Diaz caught it. Now it's just a foot race. And he can't quite make it. A great tackle made by Lunger, who's still in coverage. Will drop Diaz at about the 1-yard line.
Yeah, and you see Diaz is calling for the ball. I mean, it's pretty obvious. They were going to send Lukoski out. He waved him off the field. He wants to finish this drive off. he wants to get his 6 points that he felt like he was kind of taken from him there, because he just wasn't able to keep his feet a little bit further.
About 49 yards there on the completion. And there he is. Give me 6 more. Touchdown, Red Tornadoes, 26-0. And Dan, that took me a second because while I expected Diaz to have the ball,
Yeah.
kind of lost track of him. There was a lot of excitement going on in the middle of that Red Tornado offense.
See, I was kind of, I think I did the smart thing that time. I had a feeling that Coach Dare wasn't gonna tell Diaz, no, I'm not gonna let you get your 6 points. So I just watched Diaz. I didn't watch the ball be snapped. I didn't see none of the misdirection in the backfield. I just watched Diaz, and I finally caught up to him with the ball in his hands.
And now Spears hits Schultz on that kind of tight end, I don't know what you want to call it, that tight end throwback.
Yeah.
For the second 2-point conversion of the night, and it's 28-zip Red Tornadoes, and we're not yet out of the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, Jim, this has been, you know, we talked about the offensive struggle that the Red Tornadoes and the Black Panthers of Milton were in last week in their game. And then you've got the Red Tornadoes here, 28 points on the board, just over 10 minutes into this game. I mean, it's pretty impressive. And I think that the Red Tornadoes kind of came out with a chip on their shoulder this week.
Yeah, I think so. And one thing we want to talk about, we didn't get into it too much at the outset, but when you have an offense like this, it's been as prolific as it has, and when you have players that have succeeded as they have, such as one Cole Spears, even at a storied kind of school and a school with such strong history like Mount Carmel has,
yeah,
you start to climb up some record boards.
Absolutely.
Some leaderboards. And Spears, again, while I don't have the official stats right now, we'll see. Sure takes it at the 20, and he'll run into the teeth of that Red Tornado defense. I think it's going to be, it's Miller on the tackle,
yeah.
29, Miller. But the pass to Diaz is 49 yards. They had some other nice passes. Spears came in tonight needing about 78 yards to move from 11th to 9th on the list of total passing yards.
Yeah.
He'd pass Nick Sebas and Jeff Greco. So if
Pretty
he's
big
not there
names.
yet, I think he'll probably be in 9th place before the night is out.
Yeah, I would say I would say so, Jim. That's pretty good company to be in, especially, you know, going from 11th to 9th. That's getting yourself into the top 10 on any of these leaderboards is impressive.
Brocious to throw, and they do kind of a middle screen, but a nice play made by Reed. Okay. All right. Now, at some point you'll see that. So not only does Reed diagnose the play and make the tackle, then he gets up off the ground in about the coolest way you can get up off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this Red Tornado team all around just seems to be feeling it tonight. You know, I think the energy of homecoming, youth football night, alumni night, and coming off of a kind of a loss that stung a little bit last week. The energy is just, it's all throughout this arena tonight, this stadium.
Brocious pass falls incomplete, but again, it's a good route by Haran. They can't quite connect.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, it looked like, and we don't see this normally from the Red Tornadoes, so I don't know if the Panthers like just diagnosed that right. But it looked like Red Tornadoes were sitting with 2 high safeties, and they were actually playing like deep halves, and Haran got right in between the two of them.
It's like you run a post against cover 2, right? It's like textbook. Yeah. That's the route you run.
That's it. You get up in the middle of the field.
Now Brocious hits. That's going to be number 83, Gabe Dube, for a first down, and that's a slant where Dube's a bigger kid, and he just got his body position.
And that's what I was just going to say. That's kind of a mismatch there for Diaz. I mean, Dube is 6'1", 195 compared to Diaz, who's sitting at 5'9", 160. So he's definitely got a pretty significant size advantage. So that might be something that the Panthers continue to try to exploit.
That matchup's there on the outside again if they want it. As Shearer goes in motion, and the snap is high. Brocious picks it up, and now he's going to try to run. He's going to be knocked out of bounds by Kimzel for a big loss.
But
It'll stop the clock with 13.8 seconds left in the first quarter.
But it could have been much bigger. I mean, that was
Absolutely.
a good job by Brocious, realizing that he probably had a second to get that because of how quickly that ball got over his head. Not just kind of falling on top of it. He saved himself probably about 10, 12 yards by not just dropping on this football.
So 2nd and 18, the ball back at the 46 of the Panthers. It's going to be a quick out to Shearer. Make a couple Red Tornadoes miss, but there are just too many jerseys there for him to gain any ground. And that's going to be the last play of the first quarter. So after 12 minutes, the Red Tornadoes lead 28-0 here at the Silver Bowl on homecoming night.
Yeah, I mean that was a tough play there by Shearer. He did, you're right. He did everything that he could, make a couple guys miss, but Max Karicki was coming full speed from the interior defensive line. And all that dancing around just kind of made him a sitting target for Karicki. And Karicki put a nice big hit on him. But, yeah, I mean, it's a tale of two games. You know, going back to last week, flash forward now to this week. This looks like two different football teams.
Well, and you know what, Dan? I would say that this team, what we saw in the first quarter, honestly, we've been talking about last week, this team looks closer to the team that went to Dunmore than even the team that defeated Warrior Run here.
100%.
That was it was a nice win for the Red Tornadoes, but outside of the first drive or two, it was a little bit of a slog.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
there's energy here tonight.
Yes, and I think that the guys out there on the field would agree with you as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They all knew that they didn't give it everything, or they didn't have their A game against Warrior Run, and they definitely unfortunately didn't have it offensively against Warrior Run against Milton last week. But this offense is here, and they're ready to play. And you know, we keep talking about the offensive change, but this defense looks tough today too, Jim.
Brocious to throw. And now the Red Tornadoes, you notice there's a little bit of a change there.
Yeah.
Doob is covered well by number 7, Tate Adams. The ball falls incomplete, and it'll be 4th and 16.
Yeah, that was a really good job there by Adams, and you know, you mentioned it. It's, I mean, you can see it pretty clearly if you're watching at home. If you're here watching, Adams has a little bit of height on Diaz, and was definitely a little bit more of a reasonable matchup there with Doob.
Yeah, Adams listed at 6'1", so Doob's equal in that respect. It's a good snap, and Schumann takes his time. And he gets a nice punt out. It's angled away from Kimzel. It takes a weird bounce. So Kimzel's going to pick it up at the 8. He's got a little bit of room there to get up the sideline, so it's a good effort on the return to get the ball. What are they going to say that, Dan? Was that the 17-yard line? Excuse me, 27.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And we'll see now, again, you know, just kind of what the Red Tornadoes decide to do. It's not what can they do tonight. It's what do they want to do. You know, they've had success throwing the ball. They've had success running the ball. They can do anything at this point, offensively, it seems like.
On their first drive of the second quarter, they're going to start wide open. Spears goes straight back, and he goes down the middle to Belichick, and he's got Belichick. Oh, boy. And that's going to be 73 yards from Spears to number 1, Chase Belichick, and it is 34-0 Red Tornadoes, 31 seconds into the second quarter.
Yeah, Jim, I think now we could pretty surely say that Spears has moved himself into the number 9 spot.
Yeah.
You know, if we didn't count the 49-yard reception to Diaz, 73 plus the earlier short game receptions, I think he's got the 78 that he needed for the night.
And now the Red Tornadoes, having made up those points on the last 2 touchdowns, will come back out with their standard PAT, and Shoppy will drill it through, and it's 35 zip Mount Carmel.
And again, 31 seconds here into the second quarter, and this Red Tornado team is just humming on both sides of the ball, offense, defense, and you see, it seems like they've got their swagger back. There's nobody looks frustrated on the sidelines. There's nobody, slamming helmets, any of that stuff. These guys look confident, and they look determined tonight on that sideline.
One reason they may be determined on that sideline tonight, given that it's a beautiful Friday night under the lights here, Friday Night Lights. What happens on Thursday night, Dan? Supper Club.
Yeah.
Night Supper Club is always a good place to get started, so if you're in the Mount Carmel area on Thursdays around 6:30 p.m., you want to make your way over Matucci's Willow Street Cafe and head in there for good food, good conversation as part of Supper Club, where we're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about life. We're going to meet some of the players, some cheerleaders, some band members, TV studios. You're going to get a chance to hear from Coach Dara and just learn a whole lot about this Red Tornado football team. So again, that's Thursday nights at 6:30 at Matucci's during the season.
Yeah. I mean, Supper Club's a great tradition. One of the best traditions. I mean, in all the great traditions that this Red Tornado family has.
Short kick by Shoppy. It's like that was picked up, I believe, by number, I think it was 54, Dawson Robbins Crane. He'll return it out to about the 44 for the best field position of the night, starting field position of the night for the Panthers.
Right. And now we'll see what the Panthers opt to do here to kind of try to just stymie this Red Tornado team.
Now here comes the blitz, and Brocious does a good job of eluding a couple Red Tornadoes there, but for all his efforts, he'll pick up a yard.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that's tricky about this, Dan, is if I'm on the Panther sideline, I realize, hey, the success that we've had early is through the air.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is great. The problem being, a couple of those incompletions, you turn the ball back and you've taken about 30 seconds off the clock.
Right.
And you're not giving your defense a whole lot of time to rest.
Very true.
And Broch's pass will fall incomplete, so it's 3rd and 9 with the stop clock at 10:48 to go before halftime.
Yeah, nice job there by Morgani in the secondary. Making a play on the ball there.
A lot of sounds tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of sounds all over the place. Just a good vibe here at the Silver Bowl.
Yeah, all the way around. It's been great.
So 3rd and 9 for Brocious. He's going to have Haran in the backfield with him. He's going to throw right away, go straight back. He's going to roll to his right under pressure. He throws across his body. Had Catullus just a little high and outside, so it's going to be 4th and 9. And you'll be curious what Coach Kogut does, and it looks like they're going to punt.
Yeah, I mean, Jim, we got to find out what Brocious does in the springtime, because I mean, if he's not, I couldn't imagine. I mean, he runs like a deer, so he could be on the track team, but he might have a future as a pitcher. I mean, he's throwing fastballs to these guys in the secondary, and even his receivers are having a hard time kind of reeling him in.
It's a low liner. Kims will take it on a hop, and now he's going to try to get the corner. He cuts up through. He runs through a couple tacklers. There is a flag on the backside that I would guess is going to be against the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, that's usually on these returns, especially when you're cutting across field. You'll get a block in the back maybe. We'll have to get the official call.
I do believe it was a block in the back. The head official, there it is, all right. He gave you the quick one right around midfield.
Yeah.
So it'll be against the Red Tornadoes. We'll take him back See where they're gonna walk it off from the block, from the point of the infraction. So it'll get all the way back inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 from there. Again, we want to thank tonight's sponsor, Catino Vino, for their support and the support of all those who've kind of contributed to keep this broadcast up and running throughout the course of the season, the last few seasons. Now Spears is going to keep this one himself. He's going to get all the way out across the 35 to the 36. That's a gain of about 18. And man, he just ran out of space.
Yeah, you're right about that, Jim. I mean, it seems like this Red Tornado offense can just do no wrong at this point.
Now we're going to get offside penalty against Panthers, so the Red Tornadoes should pick up a quick 5.
There is a penalty flag on the field.
All right. Well,
A little discussion.
I thought that's what it was. And you know, Dan, as you talk about it, you can do no wrong. That's because some of that is because Spears can throw it, some of that is because they can run it. But in any event, Panthers are going to take a time. That was interesting. The timeout Panthers. But one thing I just wanted to note, because I always think about it, and then we get excited and touchdowns are scored and we move on. That interior offensive line for the Red Tornadoes.
Oh, man.
Again, that goes Delaney, Spears, Herb, Lamas, and Shipko. And just those guys, man, they keep Spears clean and they blow open those holes for those running backs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw on the last play the long run by Spears there. I mean, there was, I believe it was Herb and Lamas double teamed the nose guard, and they drove him probably 3-4 yards downfield, pancaked him, and that's what blew that hole open for Spears to get that big 18-yard gain.
So after the brief stop and play, it'll be 1st and 5 from the 41. Diaz comes in motion. He's going to go back the other way. The Red Tornadoes use that, and now it's Blessing, and oh boy, Blessing's in and out and in and out. He's still on his feet. He'll just be tripped up by Brocious. Oh my goodness, they're going to mark him down. Let's see where they put the ball, at about the 7-yard line, so that's going to be about another 51-yard run.
And now, Jim, if I'm Blessing, I'm doing exactly what Diaz did before his last touchdown. I'm giving the let's do it again sign to the sideline here. I want to finish this drive off, get my 6 points.
Goes in motion, they'll pitch it to him. Blessings, look at all the red jerseys in front of him.
Oh.
And now I think that's going to come back. And it was a play just like that last week at Milton that was the cause of a lot of conversation here back in Mount Carmel.
Yeah.
But same situation. It was a similar play. It was a hold in Milton. We'll see what the call is, and that's what it's called here as well. That play proved to be one of the difference makers last week. Red Tornadoes are hoping it has a little bit less of an impact tonight.
Yeah, I because I mean that was unfortunately on that holding call. Blessing did get into the end zone, which would have given the Red Tornadoes a late game lead. They got called back, and the Black Panthers defense, credit to them for getting the stop, turning the Red Tornadoes away.
Blessing off the right side, a good job by the Panthers. Looks like Kaludis and number 63 on the play. Catoulis, I'm sorry. I think I said Kaludis a few times. I apologize, Jack. It's Catoulis. So the ball sits right about the 10-yard line now. The Red Tornadoes are in a goal-to-go situation. Diaz comes in motion behind. Spears is going to throw, and he's got Blitchick again, and Blitchick reaches for the end zone, and he'll have his second touchdown reception of the night and his 4th on the season.
So now that's 6 touchdowns for the Red Tornadoes, if I'm correct. 2 for Blessing, 2 for Diaz and 2 for Blitchick.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Just how Coach Darrett drew it up.
Yeah, exactly.
What's funny about those two, Dan, is they've actually been in bunches too. Blessing had the first 2, Diaz had the second 2. And now Blitchick has the third set of 2, and Shoppy's kick is good, so he's got 2.
Yeah.
And it's 42 here at the Silver Bowl. Well, we talked a little bit about the Brick Project. We talked about Supper Club. We talked about the band Bingo, right? The Cash Bingo. Make sure you get those tickets. The other thing we always like to talk about are our friends at the Education Association.
Yep.
So as we go forward here, remember, the Education Association offers you an opportunity to support the district through gifts, trusts, and requests. You can help maintain a meaningful and effective learning culture here in Mount Carmel by providing students with opportunities in athletics, academics, and the arts. Now, the cool thing about this is you can donate these to specific areas. So you can donate them to the football team, you can donate to the TV studio, the band, the art club, the Latin club, whatever you so choose. And you can do so for all different ways, requests, bequeaths, and memorial of a loved one, whatever you see fit. So if you're interested in doing that and you want to help out your alma mater, or you just want to show your appreciation for what goes on around here on Friday nights, you want to head on over to www.mca.k12.pa.us or call the school at 570-339-1500. Sheriff from the 25 dropped by Cricky to 41. 8:48 remaining in the first half. 42-0 Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, and again, we'll see Panthers in really good starting field position yet again. Threatening Red Tornado territory already at the 41-yard line, and just needing to find some sort of a spark on offense. And I think the spark that they had in the first quarter may be what they need again. They need to. I think Brocious needs to find Haran and get him in some space here. Give him an opportunity.
And he's going to be sacked by Miller. It looked like Miller does a good thing and helps him up.
Yeah, just no time
Schultz
there.
helped him up. Excuse me. Miller on the sack, Schultz on the assist. But yeah, and it looks like Brocious, Dan, he wants to pump fake that. He runs that pump fakes to Catullus.
Yeah.
And then looked for Haran, but there was just no time.
Just too much pressure up the middle, and that's those inside linebackers. I mean, that's Ben Miller coming from that inside linebacker spot. Gets the sack there.
Catullus comes in motion. They're going to hand it to him. Reed does a good job of slowing him up, and the red jerseys will come and finish it off.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the Panthers, they just can't seem to get anything going offensively.
Well, and I think you're right, Dan, and I think you're right in your assessment earlier about what that loss last week did to this ball club. It was, to take nothing away from Milton Panthers, I think it's safe to say it was a little bit unexpected.
Yeah.
The Red Tornadoes felt like they had the opportunity to go into Milton and continue this march towards the season, and with wide eyes on what this team can accomplish, what its ceiling is.
Right.
And there was just a hiccup, and a good ball, but that's the danger by Brocious of throwing across your body, and it'll fall incomplete. Morganti had a chance at it, but it'll bring up another fourth down. But for as devastating as that loss was last week in the moment,
right,
you hope that at some point, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks from now, the Red Tornadoes are able to look at that as a real turning point of the season.
Yeah. I mean, even not even 2 quarters removed from it, Jim, it seems like that's been a turning point. This offense looks like they're out here with a vengeance. This defense, it looks even tougher than they were prior.
Ooh, Haran kicking that time. And that's a big kick. The Diaz will take it at the 26. And oh boy, he's got some space. He's got some red jerseys. He's in and out, and there he goes.
And he's gone.
And there are no No flags on the field. Diaz is going to return that about 74 yards.
And again, Jim, the Red Tornadoes just can't do any wrong tonight. That was such an impressive return. And after, you know, a great punt from Haran.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was a beautiful punt. Spiral. I mean, it was exactly what you want. Diaz just gets to the sideline, gets in and out, and then there was just a convoy of red jerseys in front of him.
Shoppy's kick is up, and that one's going to be no good. That'll be wide right.
But they might get another opportunity here. Maybe not.
Okay.
I mean, there was a late sub coming in there for the Panthers, who I mean, normally would have been called off sides. But he wasn't. So we'll see the Red Tornado kickoff team.
Catino Vino, tonight's sponsor. So it's 48-0 here again. The Red Tornadoes open the scoring. It was a 13-yard carry by Luke Blessing. He followed that up with a 47-yard touchdown run. And again, wherever you are and whenever you're listening, go back and watch that one again.
Yeah.
It was a terrific piece of running. Then Diaz got in the act. He scored from 36 yards out, and then he had the long reception down to the 1-yard line, and Coach Darrell let him finish it off from 1 yard out, so it was 28-0 at that point. And then Spears said, hey, what about me? And he put the ball in the air twice, both to Belichick, one for 73 yards, one for 10. And you had the Diaz touchdown, and here we are. And that's Shearer off the left side, and he's got a little space there, but a good job by Tate Adams. And we're going to get a flag there. It's getting a little chippy out there on the field.
Yeah. It started on that punt return touchdown by Diaz. You could see it. A little bit of what appeared to be the frustration from.
And so now I feel like, well, it's a little bit opposite. They're gonna get a face mask, just the 5-yard variety. It looks like is gonna be against the Red Tornadoes, and in all seriousness, Shearer's coming up with a stiff arm. Tate Adams just reaching around it.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
No malintent there.
Oh, he's got those long arms and grabbed what he could. Broch is going to go up top for Haran, and he's got him, and it's caught. A good ball in between the defenders all the way down to the 13-yard line.
Yeah, and a great catch by Haran. Did a really good job adjusting to that football and reeling that one in. So great job by Haran.
You're giving me a complex tonight, Dan. I think this is the second or third time now that I've got really excited about a throw. And you've alerted me to the fact that, hey, maybe the catch was pretty good, too.
Yeah. Well, you know, you just got to remember, you know, we like to talk about baseball sometimes. Pitcher's not the only one that throws a perfect game. you got to remember the battery. It's always the battery, pitcher and catcher.
Panthers are going to let Davis throw it, and it's a touchdown to Catullus. And they're on the board here. So that was a halfback pass of 14 yards.
And there's that Catullus receiving touchdown.
Hey, look at you.
But yeah, I mean, good credit to the Panthers there, pulling out the stops. You get the big play, and then you decide to let's let Cole Davis throw a touchdown here. So really good job there by the Panthers offense, kind of finally just finding a little bit of success on the offensive side of the ball and able to answer that last Red Tornado score.
And now Haran's going to try to get out with the fumbled snap, and Kimsel said, no, sir.
Yeah.
Throw him out of bounds at the 2.
Yeah, Kimsel did a really good job there. Because it seemed like Haran wanted to get to the sideline, realized he wasn't going to do it, so said, you know what, I'm going to put my shoulder down. And Kimsel said, not to me, you're not.
48-6 Red Tornadoes, and we haven't hit the halfway point of the second quarter just yet.
Jim, so now you know, this is the time of the game where you start asking for, you know, this is like what's on my wish list for tonight? Well, I've seen a Diaz punt return touchdown. I'd like to see a Diaz kick return touchdown.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
This is going to be his first opportunity to do it tonight, receiving the kickoff.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see it, or Kimsel, you know, anybody back there. A couple special teams touchdowns.
Well, I think what starts to get interesting, right, is now again we're talking about something that in 4 seconds might be over, right?
Right,
It doesn't happen.
right.
But Diaz has the rushing touchdown.
Yep.
He's got the punt return touchdown. We know he could catch one if you threw it to him.
Yeah.
It starts to just get interesting, and you start wanting to talk to Jose about, hey, you know, what are all the things that can happen?
Right.
But this is going to be taken by Kimsel, and Kimsel's got a little space on the left side, and oh my goodness, he put his shoulder down too.
Yeah, just
He's a tough
refusing
kid,
to go
man.
down.
He's a tough kid again, and Kimsel's only a sophomore, Dan.
Yeah. Great return though. I mean, after a pretty decent kick, puts the Red Tornadoes in pretty good field position here to start their drive.
And the Red Tornadoes are going to make some changes offensively. As you see the first one, well, there's a few out there, but most noticeably, we'll say, is the man taking the snaps. Spears is on the sideline. Number 16, Gavin Marshalik, who actually played very well last week in some action when Spears went to the sideline for a few plays. Is out, and looks like he's got number 21, Cooper Cricky, to his right. And they're going to hand it to Cricky right away. And now Cricky does a nice job of reading the blocks, getting outside, and getting up over the 45-yard line out to, see where they mark him out of bounds, about the 47 for a gain of 8.
Yeah, really nice job there. And then, you know, you mentioned some of the other changes here. You got Lukowski on the far side in the slot. You got Tate Adams on the far side, split out wide. Max Karicki in the slot to our near side here with Schultz.
Oh, my goodness.
So a lot of changes there.
And it's going to be Marshalik himself. Will have the first down, and it'll be inside Panther territory, the 46-yard line.
And again, Jim, you just see that Red Tornado offensive line. Just, you know, they're working through their double teams. They're doing everything they can to blow open some holes here for these Red Tornado backs.
Well, it feels like to some extent they're almost just looking for contact too.
Yeah.
Which, again, you love that from your offensive line, right?
Absolutely.
They're just seeking out white jerseys.
Yeah, you want to put a hat on a hat.
Marshalik to throw for the first time tonight, and he's going to go up top. And he had Schultz on a seam he was looking for. It was in a double coverage, and Marshalik threw it a little high, which is probably in everybody's best interest, so it'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah.
Cricky will come to the sideline, and number 2, Mapulich, will head out there. Again, that Red Tornado offensive line we talked so much about, of Delaney, Lamas, Herb, Spears, and Shimko, that'll stay intact for the time being.
Right.
.523. Marshalik to throw again. It's a quick one to Schultz. And now Schultz will have the first down. And Schultz is an interesting player, Dan, because he's really shown himself, in my opinion at least, this season especially.
Yeah.
Because he was the leading receiver last year, right?
Yeah.
He's shown he can do that.
Absolutely.
He's almost become like a possession receiver.
Yes.
He's moving the sticks. He's running these dig routes, these really technical routes, and just getting open.
I'm telling you, Jim. You know, I mentioned it last week, and you know, as much as I don't like to give too much credit to the Chiefs, he's basically Spears' Travis Kelce. You know, he's Spear, and even with Marshalik in the game now, like the quarterbacks know where Schultz is going to be, even if it's not designed on the play sheet. You know, they know where the hole's going to be. They know that he knows where the hole's going to be in the zone, and they know where to throw it to. So he's always a good outlet guy, and he can go up top and go get the ball.
Thomas Klingerman, number 66, makes a nice tackle for the Panthers. Those limit the Red Tornadoes to no gain. Now Catullus makes a big tackle in the backfield. It'll be the big loss back to about the 40-yard line. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 17 for the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, and that's a tough one there for Karicki, because it looked like they're just wasn't really anything there from the beginning. Catullus came off the edge free, and Karicki just couldn't beat him to the corner.
if there's any consolation to a 3rd and 17, it's that I think we should get to see Marshalik uncork one here.
Yeah.
We know he can do it. We've seen it. Red Tornadoes trying to get their offense set.
Yeah, and we've got to.
And they're going to take a timeout.
Yeah, and that's you kind of saw that coming. You saw Coach Dara starting to get a little frustrated, just trying to get the alignment right. But again, these are guys that aren't always in here, so you're trying to make sure the alignment's right. Everybody's where they need to be. So, quick little timeout here, just to, it's a big 3rd down play, especially, considering to this point now your offense has been humming. You haven't had to punt. You haven't had any turnovers. Every time you've gotten the ball, you've scored. You don't want that trend to stop, no matter who's in there on offense. So this 3rd and 17 turns into a big play.
And you see what I love about that, and again, credit to the WKMC TV studio camera folks down there on the sideline getting us right in the huddle. You look at the scoreboard. We got 3 minutes and 43 seconds left in the first half. Coach Dara's offense has put, half 100 up on the scoreboard at this point, and he's in there barking at guys, right?
Yeah.
Get it. And when I see that, 2 words come to mind: football guy.
Oh, 100%.
The Red Tornadoes set up a screen, and it's Kricky, and Kricky does a good job weaving his way in and out of there. It's going to bring a 4th and short.
Yeah.
Maybe about, let's say, maybe 3.
I was going to say, that's going to be just a much more manageable 4th down here for the Red Tornadoes.
But it's a good call, well set up play, and you see, again, Lamas and Spears and Bumps are going to get down there, and Tate Adams providing some blocks downfield, and Kricky does a nice job reading them.
And great job by Kricky pulling that one in. It seemed like the throw was just a little bit high, but he did a really good job getting his hands on it and reeling it in.
Whoa, nice change of direction by Kricky, and he's going to get a block from Schultz, and he's going to have a touchdown from 26 yards out. Again, a beautiful run. Started to the right, came all the way back across the field, and it's 54-6 here at the Silver Bowl.
And Jim, that's just the confidence of the offense at this point. It's a 4th and 3. Anybody's just trying to put their head down. Most teams, they're trying to put their head down, get those 3 yards, and get a fresh set of downs. Kricky said, I'm trying to get 6 here. And he did a great job, great field vision, and just reading his blocks, finding his way through, and turning it into 6 points.
It's a good snap, a good hold shot. The kick is up, and it is good. So it'll be 55-6 at this point. And Dan, just again, not to sound like a broken record, but another situation where the ball is put in the air, and I'm talking about everybody but the receiver, but the guy catching it. And so,
hey, listen.
You're nothing if not consistent.
I try to make sure everybody gets their due. That's all. That's all.
And you're right to do so.
It's always a great throw. The blocking's always good, and you always hit on that stuff. But one of the hardest things to do in football is catch the football. Got to give those guys credit too.
So again, don't forget, as we said before, we want to talk about the band, the Mount Carmel Area Big Red Band. We're selling bingo tickets.
Yes.
That's going to be September 30th at the Fire Hall up in Wilburton. So make sure you find somebody you know who's in the band. If you don't know anybody in the band, call the school, 570-339-1500. Somebody will help you out, I promise.
Yes.
We want to help the band out. Another big game that was going on in the area tonight that I think was of interest to everybody was Southern Columbia and Danville over in Catawissa. Southern, one of their losses last season was Danville. They're looking to kind of avenge that, so to speak. And at the half, they lead 17-7. 17.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the holdup we have here is.
There's some discussion between the official and Coach Kogut.
Okay.
Attention, play is being stopped. There is a drone above the silver ball.
Oh.
In illegal airspace.
Okay.
And whoever is flying the drone, you need to land your drone.
We appreciate our PA announcer here, Mr. Aaron Demansky, filling us in that the stoppage in play is because there's a drone above the game. And listen, whatever you're doing with that drone, I promise you, you're not getting better footage than what WKMC TV is bringing you. So if you're operating this from afar, land your drone, pull up redtornadofootball.com and check the link. I promise you, it's a better viewing experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're close enough that you're controlling that somewhat nearby, come on down and check us out. It's a great night here at the Silver Bowl. Good kick from Shoppy. Oh, but it's going to take a left, so it'll be out of bounds. That was a left.
Yeah, hard left. But either way, I mean, it's going to be Panther football at the 35. They're going to request to have it put on the right hash. Actually, I don't know if that's a request or if that's just where they line it up at, because it went out of bounds on that sideline. But
I think if it goes out of bounds, you should be able to request it.
Right, yeah.
Send that into the state.
Just like you can with a touchback.
Right.
You can request which hash you want to put on, but either way.
Brocious to throw, and it's another screen set up to Davis, and Davis has a little bit of space. Now he's got a wall set up, and Morganti's just going to knock him over.
Yeah, Morganti did a really good job there.
I was angry.
Because I thought the only person between Davis and the end zone was Fesniak, but you're right, Morganti trailing him just got a shoulder into him and knocked him down.
Davis had his eyes set. We were talking about all the different ways Diaz could score. Davis thought, well, I threw one, now let me catch one.
Right.
But it'll be that same look from the Panthers, a double stack on each side, Brocious to throw. And he's looking, and it's high, and it's intercepted by Kimzel. He's looking for Catullus, just a little bit high, and Red Tornadoes will take over 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, Jim, and that'll be Kimzel's second interception on the year now. So great job by him, and again, these Red Tornadoes, they get the football back with ample time to put another score up on the board.
No, it doesn't look like any additional changes from the Red Tornadoes right now.
No.
They'll keep that same unit that scored on the last drive. They will tighten up, though, go to the shotgun double tight set. Kricky with Marshalik and Lukoski and Kricky on the right side, and it's Cooper off the right side of that line across the 30 to the 31 for a gain of 6.
Yeah, the Red Tornado just finding ways to move the ball no matter what. It doesn't matter what they're doing. And now we see some changes here on the offensive line. That's for the Red Tornadoes. That's number 76, Jeremiah Shiganowski checks in. And I believe was that Derek Smith was 79. Did he also? I think it was Derek Smith also checked in.
Marshall is going to hand it to Lukoski, who's going to make a few tacklers miss, but a good job of gang tackling there by the Panthers. Though I do think Lukoski has enough to pick up the first down. He does.
Yes. Also see number 60 in there on the offensive line now. That's Jabari Kynes.
Yep. Herb and Spears, I think, are the only two still out there from the starting unit. Kricky up the middle. We got a flag on the play. Maybe coming back. It is against the Red Tornadoes. Clock stops with 1:19 left. That was a hold against Mount Carmel. 1:19 left in the first half here. 55-6 Mount Carmel. They seem to have found all the points that they misplaced last week.
Yeah, you are absolutely right about that, Jim. I mean, this Red Tornado offense has just been lights out here in this first half after a tough loss last week.
Now Lukoski takes, and he's got some red jerseys in front of him, and he's trying to run through some arm tackles. That's going to be a tough tackle. He pops up. We got a flag from way across the field, and I'm not sure if that official just had a better angle on the play or not, but Lukoski got tackled up high.
Yeah.
But But we'll see. Now they're pointing at the Red Tornadoes.
And it's a hold.
Not a hold of Lukoski's neck, perhaps, but
Yeah, well.
nevertheless, it's holding against the Red Tornadoes, so a big gain will come back. And from the spot of the foul, it's going to come all the way back to the 37-yard line, so it'll be 1st and 9.
Yes, I mean, Lukoski put together a nice gain there of 20 plus, but unfortunately it's going to be stamped out by that holding penalty.
And that's all right. Just give it to him again. He does a good job of fighting up and getting essentially to the same spot as he was before.
Yeah.
Just inside Panther territory at the 49 for a 1st down. Clock will stop momentarily as the sticks move. And now it's back in play as we approach 40 seconds. Never a disappointment, though. The Red Tornadoes back up on the ball.
Moving quickly here.
Marshall will pitch it out to Kricki. And now Kricki's on his way. And it'll be tackled. A good job. We'll try to see exactly who that was.
54, I think, Jim. Looked like 54. I think that's Dawson Robbins Crane.
Yeah, he's made a few big tackles tonight, and he just kind of laid out.
Yes, yeah. That was the only, and I mean, he gave it everything he had. And it was everything he needed.
Now, the Red Tornadoes don't have to snap it here. And it looks like they won't.
Yeah.
Coach Darrow's calling off the Dogs momentarily, at least, as his team has certainly responded to last week's tough loss in Millen. As we hit halftime here, it is 55-6 Red Tornadoes. As we said, it's an exciting halftime here. It's homecoming, so a lot's going on, but we will be back in a short amount of time with the second half, with stats, with scores from around the area. So please stay with us and stay tuned.
Been a tradition at Mount Carmel area since 1952, with many young women competing for the honor of being crowned MCA's queen. The senior, junior, and sophomore classes voted this past week, and at this time, we would like to introduce to you our 3 senior candidates for queen and the junior and sophomore representatives, all of whom have been nominated by their respective classes. Our sophomore representative is Sarah Williams. Sarah is the daughter of Eric and Tasha Williams of Natalie. She is a member of the varsity sideline and competitive cheerleading teams, Our Lady of Lourdes volleyball team, the track and field team, Future Teachers of America, and news reporting. Sarah is also a distinguished honor roll student and a member of the National Honor Society and is employed by the Bloomsburg Gun Club. Her interests include cheering, painting, shopping, and hanging out with friends and family, with future plans to attend a 4-year college. Sarah is being escorted tonight by number 10, Xavier Diaz, senior member of the football team. Our first junior representative is Jessa Robert. Jessa is the daughter of Jen and Anthony Robert of Mount Carmel. Jessa is a member of the varsity sideline and competitive cheerleading teams, MCA Live news reporting, Future Teachers of America, and Future Nurses of America. She is a student of the STEM program and an honor roll student, is employed at Fountain Springs Country Club, and is a salon assistant at Salon 42. Jessa's interests include hanging out with friends, focusing on school, and being with family. Her future plans are to attend a four-year college with a major in nursing to become a pediatric nurse. Jessa is being escorted tonight by number 15, Jacob Schultz, senior captain of the football team. Our second junior representative is Francesca Ventilli. Francesca is the daughter of Thomas and Angela Ventilli of Mount Carmel. Francesca is an honor roll student and is a member of the National Honor Society. She is also a member of Varsity Girls Soccer, Softball, Future Nurses of America, Future Teachers of America, a Novel Idea Reading Club, and Art Club. Her interests include hanging out with friends and family, reading, fishing, playing softball, and playing soccer, with future plans to attend a four-year college and major in nursing. Francesca is being escorted tonight by number 17, Orville Fesniak of the football team. Our first senior candidate is Lauren Bogovich. Lauren is the daughter of Tom and Christy Bogovich of Denmark Gardens. She is a member of the Varsity Sideline Cheerleading, Future Teachers of America, and is an honor roll student. Lauren's interests include shopping, traveling, and spending time with friends and family, with future plans to attend Bloomsburg University and major in early childhood education. Lauren is being escorted tonight by number 3, Maddox Reed, senior captain of the football team. Our second senior candidate is Rebecca Morales. Rebecca is the daughter of Melissa and Edward Morales of Mount Carmel. She is a member of the art club, chorus, marching band, concert band, and jazz band. She also participates in the STEM club, tabletop gaming club, a novel idea reading club, chess club, and a school musical. Rebecca's interests include baking, music, gaming, and arts and crafts, with future plans to attend Susquehanna University and major in music education. Rebecca is being escorted tonight by number 44, Ryan Widener, senior member of the football team. Our third senior representative is Adrienne Rodriguez. Adrienne is the daughter of Jesus Rodriguez and Heather Weisner of Atlas. She is a member of Color Guard Rifle and Flag, Art Club, Chorus, Symphonic Band, the National Honor Society, and the school musical. Adrienne is the wrestling manager and marching band drum major at MCA and is employed at the Old Mill at Knobles. Her interests include cosmetology, theater, art, wrestling, music, and dinosaurs, with future plans to attend Bloomsburg University and major in secondary English education. Adrienne is being escorted tonight by number 72, Maddox Lamas, senior member of the football team. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a nice round of applause for all these lovely ladies and their escorts. The final moment of anticipation has arrived, so at this time, I would like to introduce to you the 2023 Mount Carmel Area Homecoming Queen, Lauren Bogovich. Crowning Miss Bogovich will be number 11, Captain Cole Spears of the football team. Number 13, Daniel Velasquez, and number 19, Ethan Urbanovich, will present the Queen with flowers and the homecoming court with their gifts. Ladies and gentlemen, one more big round of applause for the 2023 Mount Carmel Area Homecoming Court and the 2023 Homecoming Queen, Lauren Bogovich. As the homecoming court is being escorted back to their seats, we would like to take this opportunity to thank all those involved in tonight's homecoming festivities at Mount Carmel Area. Your preparation is truly appreciated, and does not go unnoticed.
And now we invite you to sit back and enjoy the 2023 edition of the Mount Carmel Area High School Big Red Band.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Mount Carmel area Big Red Band.
Hello and welcome back to the Silver Bowl on homecoming. The Red Tornadoes really showed out in the first half, Dan. They lead the visiting Bloomsburg Panthers 55-6 after 24 minutes of play. Courtesy of Jose, I think we've got some stats to back that up.
Yes, we do, Jim, and we'll start with the Panthers stats. Right now, seven rushing attempts for negative 10 yards, 9 of 23 passing for 162 yards. So that looks like 152 total yards of offense there for the Panthers. Now we've got some big numbers here for the Red Tornadoes. 21 carries for 306 yards on the ground, 11 of 13 passing for 210. That's 516 yards of total offense, 15 first downs, and that's 55 points on the board. But just some individual stats. We've got Spears passed for 176 here in the first half. Blessing has run for 119, and Chase Belichick has 102 yards receiving. So there's a 100-yard receiver, rusher, and passer in this first half.
Back on the train.
Yeah, back on the train is right. And I mean, that's an impressive train to be on. You can get a 100-yard passer and receiver. That kind of goes hand in hand, you know. But you get a 100-yard rusher in there as well. That's solid. That's tough to do.
So we got 24 minutes of play here left at the Silver Bowl. Again, big first half offensively for the Red Tornadoes. A couple things we want to go through and remind you of. Number one, of course, we talked about it at the outset. Tonight's sponsor is Catino Vino. We appreciate their support for this WKMC TV broadcast. Also, coming up on September 30th, so that's a week from tomorrow if you're watching us live Friday night, there is a bingo up at the Wilburton Fire Company in support of the MCA Big Red Band. It's a cash bingo. The doors open at 12. The bingo starts at 2. It's $30 a ticket. There's only 300 tickets are being sold for this, so there's a limited number available. So you need to reach out to an MCA band member. Again, I'm sure you know one. If you do not, call the school. They'll set you up. 570-339-1500. So also, while we're talking about it here, we want to go ahead and extend a good luck to the Mount Carmel area cross country team. They'll be heading tomorrow to Hershey for the Hershey Invitational. So good luck to the cross country team. Just about a week and a half ago, they had a home meet, which is the first meet on the campus of Mount Carmel since pre-COVID.
Wow.
So they hadn't done that.
That's
They'd been
awesome.
over at the Weiser State Game Lands, but they brought it back. There's a lot of effort there made by the team to get that up and running. A lot of assistance from parents and other volunteers in the community. So it was a really cool day. I think there were very few issues. It was a very, very smooth day, appreciated by all.
And it's nice being able to get that home field advantage back. You know what I mean?
Right.
The home course advantage back.
Karicki's going to take the kick, and I thought, man, I'm excited about Cooper Karicki.
Yeah.
There's something about him, Dan. It seems like he always looks like he's about to break away. Sometimes he does, but he always looks like he's just one more shoulder shimmy away from being in the open field.
Yeah, and I always like seeing those guys get up in that briar patch. Not nervous to run in there. You're going to get hit with some thorns, but he gets right up in the middle. That's where your blockers are. Does a really good job.
Marshall comes out throwing. It's intercepted. And it's Davis, and Marshall is going to be able to sneak him out of bounds to prevent the 6 points the other way. But a huge play by number 48, Cole Davis, who's having himself a heck of a ball game.
Yeah, I mean, Davis has the pass for a touchdown. He's now got a pick that he almost takes back for 6 points. I mean, it's a really good day there for Cole Davis. But I mean, credit to him. He did a really good job of disguising his coverage. Marshall didn't see him.
So we'll have to see what happens here. Brocious is going to be sacked by Karicki. Cooper Karicki again, that is, on a nice takedown in the backfield. And wanted to see how that play went before we started to call out some of the defensive changes for the Red Tornadoes. So in that defensive backfield, Tate Adams will stay out there. I see Danny Velasquez, Fesniak, Ezekiel Noel, Morganti's out there. Again, we talked about Karicki, Jabari Kynes, Shaganoski. I mean, I know I didn't say 11, but I'm trying to see which numbers I didn't get. Brocious swings out to Catullus, and he's going to power his way in for a touchdown. So a nice effort there by the Panthers, a good response defensively and offensively to start the second half, and it's 55-12 here at the Silver Bowl.
Yeah, the other one I saw out there, Jim, was 45, Thomas Berezovsky.
Okay.
In the defensive backfield as well. And that might be 11 now. Seemed like you touched you hit most of them.
Kick is up and good. It'll be 55-13. And Dan, you spoke this into existence a little bit, because that Catullus came into tonight as the leading receiver for the Panthers, and he didn't have a touchdown to his name this season.
Yeah.
He's got 2 here at the Silver Bowl.
This is true. This is true. The first one came from the running back, Cole Davis.
Right.
And this time finally from the quarterback, Wyatt Brocious.
While we're here again, we talked about homecoming, the excitement here. There are some big games going on in the area. Probably none bigger from an interest standpoint outside of the friendly confines here is happening just over the mountain in Catawissa. And right now, the Southern Columbia Tigers lead the Danville Ironmen 31-14 in the third quarter. So they extended that lead a little bit. It was 10 at the half. It's 17 here in the third. Gonna bounce in front of and be taken by Morganti. And now Morganti's got some space.
And he's got
some jets. Oh my goodness. So Dan, there's your kick return touchdown.
Wow.
A big return by Morganti. And I'll tell you, we see him defensively. So you know that he's talented, he's athletic, he's strong. But that was quick, and that's about 85 yards.
Yeah, and I mean, let's get a look here. He gets up in that briar patch, and that's what these guys with the vision do. You get it, you go inside, and then you just find the sideline. And he got to the sideline, and he just outran everyone. So great job there by Morganti with a huge kick return touchdown to kind of answer after the turnover to start the second half and the quick score on the other end there for the Panthers.
Red Tornadoes having a little problem here with their kick team, which again, we've talked about this before. This does happen late in games, I think. And just at the whistle, they get the ball snapped, and Shoppy does his job, driving it through. And it's 62-13. And so we went into the half at 55-6. We've had 2 touchdowns here, and we haven't played 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been an offensive game, at least. I mean, the Red Tornadoes offense has been lights out throughout this entire game so far. And then just, you're right, I mean, just the scoring continues for both sides now with 2 quick touchdowns to start the second half.
The Tigers just put another one on the board. It's 38-14 Southern over there in Catawissa.
Wow. We got any other scores around the area,
Yeah,
Jim?
that's what I was looking for. North Schuylkill leads Northern Lehigh 42-6.
Okay. North Schuylkill's got a good game next week. They're playing Notre Dame Green Pond. So that's usually a District 11 matchup there.
Do you remember when Notre Dame Green Pond came here for a scrimmage a few years back?
Sure.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Sorry, Jeff.
Mount Carmel's Week 6 opponent, Midwest, they trail Hughesville 27-0 in the third quarter.
Okay.
We'll try to get some other scores here. And Shoppy's kick goes out of bounds in front of Wheaton. Shamokin Indians lead Central Mountain 20-6 in the third quarter.
Okay, and that one's at Central Mountain. It's a nice
little bit of a ride too, right?
Yeah, nice little drive there for the Indians this week. Red Tornadoes are going to be making a drive next week, going to Midwest.
The Lewisburg Green Dragons, they lead Central Columbia 17-3. A lot of 17s.
Yeah.
I think it speaks to the talent of
kickers,
right?
Yeah, guys are kicking field goals nowadays.
Brocious to throw. He's got Sure. And the ball is out, and the Red Tornadoes are going to recover.
Now, was that?
Well, they're calling it. They're calling it a fumble.
I'd like to see what happened there, Jim, because it looked like Shearer was almost attempted to lateral that.
You know, this is a good time for us to try this, Dan. We've never done this before. Hey guys, any chance we can get a replay on that when you have a minute? I don't know. I don't know if that's a realistic thing to ask for.
Right.
You don't get anything you don't ask for, somebody told me once.
This is true.
Marshalik hands it off to Cricky off the right side. Get out to about down around the 37. But if you're sitting at home, rewind that. Maybe let Dan rewind that. Do I date myself when I say things like rewind it?
Yeah.
Do people know what rewinding is?
I think it's about the same on the new TVs as it is back on the old VCRs too.
Cricky again down to the 35. Now it's going to be third and around 5 or so here. Nine minutes and counting in the third quarter, and Marshall will find Morganti. Look at him go.
Yeah.
First down inside the 25. And we talk a lot about what goes on in the field and the vision and how clean the picture is and just how well this whole production's put on. And we certainly do our best to remind all of you watching wherever you are. Last week we had folks in St. Louis. We found out there was a family out in Alaska.
Yeah.
So we're coast to coast at the very least, if not international, and that couldn't be done without the help of these Mount Carmel area students and all the work. Tonight's director is Hannah Forspring. Cameras, we have Samantha Zatney, Lucas Lubinsky, and Corey Carl. Landon Mussers on the replay. Graphics are Isabella Jack Cook and Ava Scavery. Production assistants are Jennifer Andress, Abby Bomer, and photographers Zoe Psycho and Alyssa Trefsker. see. Not much for Cricky on that one. It's going to be 3rd and 9. So one other thing that we want to make sure we mention here, one of the things that I always appreciated coming up through the TV studio, and Dan, I think you did as well, is working with Mr. McPhee, and now the students that are working with Mr. Sakaitis and Mr. Trust. Now look at the rabbit. There's a rabbit on the field.
And with all that, I think that's going to be, I thought it was an incompletion, but are they going to rule that a fumble?
Well, I think in any event it was, okay, it was a fumble. I'm sorry. Complete. I thought I saw.
Yeah, yep. And that's going to be a Panther football. All the excitement with the rabbit there.
It caught me off guard, I'll be honest with you. But one of the cool things Mr. McPhee always did, Mr. Sakaitis does now, Mr. Tresker, is they kind of provide opportunities and windows into what's out there, what kind of careers the TV studio can offer and those kinds of skills.
Absolutely.
And we're fortunate enough to have an MCA and TV studio alumni here with us tonight, Joe Gushin. Joe's a 2003 graduate, and he obviously, like I said, he's an alumni. He's currently a vice president of Nickelodeon. And we had a good opportunity to talk with Joe, and he had really awesome things to say about everything that's gone on with the TV studio, that's going on with the TV studio. You got to have that conversation that really you only get to have with people who've kind of had that shared experience and know what's going on. He's had all kinds of success, and again, that's from the TV studio. So we appreciate Joe coming back with us tonight.
Absolutely.
And kind of showing these kids what's possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see somebody that was able to take, the things that they started learning here in the Mount Carmel area TV studio and turn that into a lifelong career.
Sure, takes the pass from Shane Fry. We talked about him a little bit in warm-ups, Dan, that he was the backup quarterback, and he goes in there and delivers a nice ball to Scherer.
Yeah, it's a really good throw. He gets the ball out of his hands quickly here and just gives Scherer, who's got some really good athletic ability, just gets him the ball in open field and lets him make a play.
So it's 1st and 10 at about the 47. Ooh. And Frey keeps that one himself, and he's going to be slammed down by Shiganowski.
And that was an interesting, you don't usually see the fake pitch keeper, but set it up nicely. I thought it was going to provide a little bit more, but Shiganowski shut that one down.
One of the cool things, we'll get to that in just a second, as Frey flips it out to Katulis, incomplete. Nice job by Berezovsky, who was driving on the ball, delivered a good hit. But one of the cool things is when you find people that are really good teachers, they never stop teaching.
Right.
We talked about Mr. McPhee a lot, and he just sent me a quick note here. He's out there listening. We appreciate Mr. McPhee to always teach, and there's always more lingo I can learn, right?
Yeah.
And as I was trying to talk about a replay, the magic word would have been cue it up.
Cue it up.
So perhaps in the future, and Frey takes a shot and he unloads it, and it's almost intercepted. I think Adams had the positioning. He had his hands on the ball. But in that case, number 83, Dube, who we talked about before, he turned defender and knocked the ball out of Adams' hands.
He did. He did everything he can to keep Adams from reeling that one in. And credit to him for doing it.
For anybody who's watching the Giants and 49ers last night, early on in that game, I think it might have been the first possession, Brock Purdy sailed one on George Kittle. And Kittle did the same, and he kind of batted the ball away from the defender. But then he gave you the somewhat hilarious defender, I just forced an incompletion celebration, which is pretty cool.
Oh, nice
moves. That's Danny Velasquez.
Yeah, another really nice little shifty.
Is there anybody on the Red Tornado sideline that can't make at least one guy miss in space?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
And that's talking top to bottom, Jim. You get those offensive linemen out there with the footwork drills that they're put through and all that other stuff. I think any one of those guys with the ball in their hands can make something happen.
We're only got a timeout here from the Panthers, and that's probably solid for us. Because I was looking and I was thinking, is there anybody else offensively that we haven't identified for the Red Tornadoes? I see number 14, Ezekiel Noel out there. Talked about Velasquez and Morganti, Shiganowski. We talked about Kynes, Adams, Karicki, of course Marshalik. Half the time, honestly, the TV studio does such a nice job sometimes, especially when play is stopped. I just stop looking at the field and I just watch our awesome monitor up there.
I do see one that I don't think we got. Number 56 is Jacob Doak.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Good eyes, Danny boy. 56. Did we talk about 51? Ryan Bush is out there as well.
No, we did not. Good eyes, Jim.
I always feel for the offensive and defensive linemen. Again, we love you guys. We appreciate what you do. We know you're down there in the thick of it,
in the trenches.
In the trenches, right? But man, sometimes it's hard to see your jersey numbers. Oh my goodness, Karicki. This is going to be a 78-yard run, and he hit the hole and exploded.
Wow, Jim, that was impressive. I mean, you know, you talk about this. We've talked about the youth on this Red Tornado team, and I mean, these guys are just getting an opportunity tonight to kind of show what they're made of, and it's just been an impressive display of offense all the way around.
Now we can add Karicki to that list of Red Tornadoes who scored multiple touchdowns tonight. So it's Diaz with 3, Blessing, Belichick, and Karicki with 2. And Belichick's 2 coming through the air from Spears.
Yep.
Shoppy's kick is up and good. And it's 69-13 with 3:31 remaining in the third quarter.
Yeah, but this... And you know, we've talked about it so many times, like just it's almost like a cookie cutter type template. You just drag and place whatever backs, whatever line you want to out there on the field, and these Red Tornadoes have success.
Yeah. Well, and I think what's interesting about that, if we really go and kind of, you know, dig into that a little bit, right, analyze that a little bit, you would say between that and almost what happened last week. So a lot of the reason this looks so plug and play is because Coach Dara's run this rushing attack.
Yeah.
Right? It's, again, it looks different because it's not in the shotgun double wing, but he brought the offense here 8 years ago, right, when he came in, 9 years ago, whatever it was.
9 season this year.
So these kids, they know their schemes. They know who they're looking for. They know where to put their hats.
Yeah.
And they can adjust.
Right.
And so last week, and again, Coach Dara alluded to this in a couple of the interviews that he gave throughout the course of the week. Last week at Milton, that comfort level's wasn't quite there, as Karicki's kick is going to go out of bounds, I think.
Maybe.
Nope, it's going to stay in bounds.
And it's going to be
the Red
Tornado
Tornadoes
football.
recovered it. So it was a weird knuckler that kind of bounced backwards.
I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I think it was Cooper Karicki that recovered that football.
I mean, he was certainly in the area.
Yeah. I saw 21 and 51 coming away from there. So it could have been either one of those two that jumped on that ball. But this is going to be Red Tornado football.
Well, it doesn't look like it.
Maybe not. Okay.
All right, you got us all excited.
Well, I mean, I was watching the FAR official point in the direction that it would have been Red Tornado ball.
There's a pitch to number 80, Christian Cruz, and a nice tackle by Berezovsky.
Very nice tackle.
But like we were saying before the kick, Dan, it was almost just that Coach Derek kind of alluded to, hey, these are the offensive sputtering, if you want to call it that happened last week.
Yeah.
It's just growing pains in a new offense. Right, that's all it is.
Which is completely understandable. I mean, it happens.
2nd and 6. Frey's going to run off the right side, and he's going to run and he's going to be knocked out of bounds. Looks like that was
Velasquez on the tackle.
Okay. I just saw the 3, and for some reason I thought it was 43, and I'm glad I was wrong because I don't have a 43.
I'm glad you were wrong too. It's usually me.
Well, you said it. Again, we want to thank Catino Vino for their support tonight. We're fortunate enough to have a lot of great sponsors, and want to make sure that all of our great viewers are frequenting their establishments.
Another guy I want to point out that we're seeing out here on the field, looks, I think for the first time here, is number 88 for the Red Tornadoes. That's Draco Shellhammer,
Okay. Yep,
outside linebacker.
Well, I think we got.
And we do have 51 Ryan Bush. You got him on the last drive, I believe.
Well, we got him on the offensive side. I don't know that we noted him defensively yet.
Well,
and it looks like it's.
I think that's Doak at the other inside linebacker, 56, with Bush.
The ball is on the ground, and it'll be recovered by Cruz. But I was looking, actually, and again, he started moving. Come on, give me a little spin here. All right, there we go. It also looks like Urban Avage, 19's out there.
Good call.
And Urban Avage actually just did the D-back celebration that I was talking about that George Kittle did last night.
Yes, he's locking it down.
Sometimes it's hard to remember that guys like George Kittle are closer in age to some of these kids than I am to George Kittle.
This is true.
Frey's going to go up top. Incomplete. It's going to be 4th and 19. Again, you'll notice just kind of given where we are in the game, the clock's been running throughout the third quarter. We'll see what the Panthers opt to do here. Again, it's 4th and 19, so Haran will come out to punt.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to get this play off before the quarter ends.
Oh, this is like basketball, right? When you say, oh, there's a second difference between the shot clock and the game clock.
Yeah, and this is fractions of a second.
Haran in really no hurry, which I can appreciate, kind of the calmness.
I don't think his offensive line really appreciates it, though. It looks like they're getting tired there. Oh.
Well, here's an interesting one. First of all, let's get out of the third quarter. Third quarter ends 69-13 Red Tornadoes. It did look as though the play clocks expired before the game clock did. There's no delay game penalty here. But what I think about something, and anybody that knows Mount Carmel football or Mount Carmel in general, think about Coach Chicatano, right? Bobby Schick.
Yep.
And I remember talking to him one time. He was explaining to me that the play clocks in the end zones cost you about a second, because if there's no play clock and all the time is being kept on the field, the official who's in charge of the play clock has to look down and look up to see that the ball hasn't been snapped and then throw a flag. So in that, as you said, it was fractional. So I almost wonder if they go, half a second. We're in the margin of error.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
All right, so again, Haran back there, and Haran has shown again, it's 4th and 19, which is tough, but when the rush hasn't been there, he's kind of milled around a little bit and thought maybe I'll run, but it's a good punt.
Really good punt.
It's going to be taken by Velasquez, and again, now he's going to go back the other way, and he's going to stay on his feet. He'll just be tripped up by Whedon. There's a late flag, so we'll see what that's about. But again, just true to form, Velasquez made the first guy miss.
Yeah. And he had some room to the outside there, that left side, if he was able to get there. But good credit to Whedon for tripping him up. It looks like this is going against the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, the hold was signaled. Oh, actually blocking the back. Okay. As we said, next week the Red Tornadoes travel out to Midwest quite a hike, so we'd encourage you to leave early, but if not, you know where to find us.
Yes.
See if we can get a quick update on some of these other scores from around the area. Southern and Danville stay at 38-17.
Okay.
As Marshall hands to Berezovsky, he's got the corner.
Very nice run.
Yeah, he picks up a first down there.
Yeah. Excellent run there by Berezovsky.
Hughesville opened up their lead over Midwest by another touchdown, 34-0 there. 42-6 is the final now for North Schuylkill.
Okay.
Gotta be careful. Sometimes they sneak in last week's scores.
Right. Yeah, you got to make sure you got the right date.
Okay, how am I going to give you a couple Mount Carmel scores. Central Mountain trails Shamokin 20-6 in the fourth quarter. As we get a timeout here on the field. Been a lot of fun here at the Silver Bowl tonight, especially if you're wearing red.
Yeah.
Big number up on the scoreboard for the Red Tornadoes, 69-13 here. We've got 11 minutes and 7 seconds remaining. It was homecoming, so Mount Carmel always does it right on Friday nights here with the parade coming right down 3rd Street. But even more so on homecoming, and you have the float, well, I guess not floats, you have the banners that came through.
Yep.
You have the homecoming court on a float, and then you factor in that they also made a youth football night.
Alumni night,
right?
It was a huge night here at the stadium.
Yeah, the fan base showed up and the football team showed out.
Yeah, 100%. It's been an all around just a great night. You know, it's cliche when we say it, but it's a great night to be a Red Tornado.
Berezovsky again, and I almost feel like I'm slighting him by saying he makes the first guy miss, because he made the first couple guys miss.
Yeah, he did. He made a few guys miss. That's for certain.
And we got a stoppage here. There's a Red Tornado down on the field. As soon as we can figure out who that is, we'll let you know. But again, just another friendly reminder of as you get all these terrific sights and sounds. This is a WKMC TV broadcast. It's a student-run TV studio here in the Mount Carmel Area School District. As you can see, tonight's sponsor is Catino Vino. We had a chance to talk to Larry DeKlinsky a little bit earlier, news item extraordinaire. Looks like it was number 60, Jabari Kynes, and he's up walking off under his own power. So it's good to see that. Hopefully Jabari gets back in there before too long.
Yes.
But we had a chance to talk to Larry, and Larry reminded me, because I'd almost forgotten, the fair started this week. Bloomsburg Fair started tonight, I think. Or was it tonight or last night?
I think the preview night or something like that tonight. I think it starts officially tomorrow.
What are your take on the fair? You go to the fair?
Yeah, I like to go to the fair. Not big on the crowds, but I like to gotta go eat.
Can I give you a pro tip? I will be at the fair. Well, let me check that, because I think it's gonna rain this weekend. But
yeah,
Berezovsky, now he's gonna switch gears, and he gets a good block from Marshall, right? But there's too many white jerseys, and it'll take a pretty big loss on that one. Bring up 3rd and 11. I like to go on Sundays early.
Okay.
Kind of try to be out of there.
Yeah.
Right? You get in, you do your thing, you get some food, and then you get out of there by the time the crowd starts showing up.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There's so much to be seen and to be experienced at the fair. But for me, it's the food. I like to go and get one of everything that I don't get all year long.
Berezovsky thrown down in the backfield. Hey, wait a minute. One thing that happens with injuries, with Kine coming to the sideline, I happened to notice I saw a jersey out there that I was surprised Seth Spears was 53.
Oh,
Said,
yeah.
Hey, what are you doing in there, man? Pinchy had it in there. So the Red Tornadoes will punt for the first time tonight. Be number 9, Max Kricky. Kricky's punted 11 times on the season. He averages about 35 yards a punt with a long of 50. So he can get it out there.
And we're going to have a timeout taken by the Red Tornadoes, and that's, to be expected. We haven't had the punt team on the field at all this game, and now you've got kind of your piecemeal punt team in at the end here.
Yes.
So, but one guy that I did see coming off the field from that offensive series that I don't think we mentioned earlier was number 18, Landon Adams.
Good catch, Dan.
I try.
So the ball is sitting at the 32-yard line. It's 4th and about 17.
Yeah.
Again, Kricky will punt here. It looks like Shearer is back deep for the Panthers. A lot of white jerseys near the line. So
Yeah.
we'll see if they go after this punt. Well, not really. Kricky will take his time and he gets off a nice punt. Directional away from Shearer. He'll get a good bounce. And Morgantz is going to snag it at the 31-yard line.
Yeah, we'll get to see this Red Tornado defense again. I mean, these guys, and
Talking about Adams and Shellhammer.
we see number 60, Jabari Kynes, is back out there on the field, which is always good to see.
I do think everybody out there was out there last time.
Yeah.
Now we've accounted for all these young men. And Frey will stay quarterback position for the Panthers. And he's going to throw. He rolls to his right. He's under pressure from Shellhammer now. And he wants to float it out for Whedon, who had gotten behind the defense, but is incomplete.
And Frey's got an arm on him. I mean, he was at a full sprint to the sideline, and just a little flick of the wrist, and he put that out there about 30, 35, 40 yards. And pretty impressive to see.
Yeah, Frey's a freshman only. He's 5'11", 160 is what he lists at here.
And you look at him; he's built like a quarterback.
This time, pitches it to Cruz. Cruz is going to be tackled. A nice tackle by Velasquez.
Really nice tackle by
Gain of
Velasquez.
3.
Did a good job kind of moving laterally there and not letting Cruz get to the sideline.
Frey looking at the sideline for the play call and bring it in. Red Tornadoes do the same for their own defensive lineup. Frey to throw. And he's going to unload it, and he finds Shearer for a first down. It was good coverage and a good tackle by Berezovsky, but a nice ball.
Yeah, really good job there. And you know, Frey benefited there from some time in the pocket. You know, he was able to kind of go through his progression and find the open receiver. So credit to him and credit to that offensive line in front of him.
Now, one thing, again, that's often frowned upon by folks within a locker room, but not so much you and I, Dan, because we can kind of do our own thing. Frey is going to be dropped by Shellhammer and Shiganowski, who just decided they were going to meet up at the quarterback.
Yeah, they said he had too much time on the last drop back. They didn't cut that time off much quicker that time.
But this game, this is week 5. We're halfway through the regular season here, so I start to look what's going on elsewhere in the district.
Yeah.
In Class 2A. Right now, Troy seems to be the number 1 seed. With Southern nipping at their heels, they're both 4-0. Good ball by Frey. And now Whedon's going to be stopped. A great effort by Berezovsky, who's going to lay out and drop him inside the 5.
And that's a tough tackle to make too, Jim. That laying out, making that play, because you're always self-preservation. You got heels kicking up at you. You're going to catch one of those in the chin, making that tackle. Yeah. But Berezovsky put his body on the line there and saved a touchdown here, at least for the time being.
That pass is high and wide of Wheaton.
Good coverage by Adams over there.
To be second goal from the 4, but I only brought up Troy to just note that they won big tonight, 62-6 over Athens.
Okay.
So as the season goes on, we usually expand our area of interest.
Yeah, those are. Troy's not always a team that's right in the front of our mind at the beginning of the season, but always at the end of the season, because they always seem to be in the top 3-4 seeds in District 4.
And Frey is going to run it in for a Panther touchdown with 4:48 remaining from 4 yards out.
Yeah, we'll see now. That looks like Panthers are just going to go offense on the field. Maybe not. They were, well, the offense started running off. They got waved back on. So there's going to be one difference that comes in here. And that is Peg. So maybe they're just going to have, hey, let's line it up. Let's get somebody to snap it and hold it. Everybody else stay out there.
It's a low snap, but a good job by the holder.
Wow.
And he made it. The holder was sure on that one, and the kick got up there. So nice effort by the Panther PAT unit.
Yeah, all around, that was a good job.
Again, 4:48 left here at the Silver Bowl, 69-20. The Red Tornadoes in control.
Yeah, it seemed like every time, at least to this point, I mean, it's been three scores for the Panthers. It seems like every time that they've scored, the Red Tornadoes have answered with their own. So we'll see if that trend continues here with under 5 minutes to go in this game. And we'll see if we get a look at these explosive return guys. And you're going to see Morgani and Karicki heading back there again to receive this kickoff.
And you imagine your coach Dara, and you look at your backfield and you go, okay, I got Diaz and Blessing.
Yeah.
All right, phenomenal. Well, Blessing, Blessing is senior.
Yep.
So you worry about that. Sorry, did I say Blessing? I meant Diaz.
Diaz is senior.
Blessing, not.
A junior.
Junior, right. And Karicki wisely lets that one go out of bounds. And you think, where am I going to find speed?
Right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Karicki and Morganti.
Yeah, don't have to look too far to find the speed. We're going to see no flag thrown in that play, but they're just going to line the ball up at the 35, which is what would have happened with the flag anyways. So the official decides, you know what, my arm's a little tired. Just going to leave that one in my pocket.
You can always hit him with the underhand.
Yeah, I think we saw that a few times last week.
Well, some of that was because you got to throw it underhand and throw it as far as those flags flew.
Right.
Sorry. Berezovsky gets a couple good blocks, and he takes a shot.
He took a shot, but he put his shoulder down and delivered one himself.
He did. He popped back up.
Yeah. You always like to see that. These guys that aren't afraid of contact in the backfield.
I'd be curious to see the stats tomorrow in terms of some of these guys. What did Morganti's night look like? What did Berezovsky's. Look at Velasquez. What does his night look like?
Yeah.
It's been a good one. I have a first down for the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, and again, just did a good job. He reeled in the catch, made a couple guys miss, and turned that into a nice first down completion there.
Ball's at the 47-yard line. Marshall hands off to Berezovsky. Will be ridden down by number 69, Braxton Martinez.
Yeah. Berezovsky giving up a little bit of size there to Martinez, if you couldn't tell.
They need to give up a little bit.
Martinez, a freshman, 6'2", 220. Berezovsky, 5'6", 160. So credit to him, bouncing right back up after those tackles.
Now we'll see Marshall throw it for the first time in a while, but nope, he's going to take off. And again, another tough kid have a first down for the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah. Yes, he will. As the clock continues to tick and the Red Tornadoes continue to move towards, again, just continuing that trend and answering the Panthers' score.
It's Berezovsky again. And it'll be held up by the Panthers. Looked like number 52, Logan Traw, just got, he's not going to get credit for the tackle there, but he got enough of Berezovsky to slow him down until the cavalry could come.
Yeah.
So we're under 2 minutes remaining. Marshall's going to throw. He's out for Velasquez, and Shearer saw that coming the whole way and all but jumped it. Now there's a Panther down on the field, so play will stop while he's being tended to. Can't quite see who it is, but as soon as we can, we'll share that information.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't catch a number there.
Like we said, a lot of points here on the board for the Red Tornadoes, and it's been varied, but it's also been the same, right? It's an interesting situation. Blessing has 2 touchdown rushes tonight of 13 and 47.
Yep.
Diaz has 2 touchdown runs tonight of 36 and 1. He also has a 74-yard punt return for a touchdown. Spears has 2 touchdown passes to Belichick, 1 for 10 yards, 1 for 73 yards.
Wow.
Cooper Kricky's got 2 touchdown runs, 1 for 26 and 1 for 78.
Mm-hmm.
And John Morganti has an 85-yard kickoff return.
Scoring in all types of ways tonight.
The only thing we're missing is a defensive touchdown.
Yeah.
You got a kickoff, a punt, a pass, a run. And I think if things go the way we expect them to go here over the next 106 seconds or so, the Red Tornadoes shouldn't wind up on defense again tonight.
No, I don't think so.
We talked about it at the outset. It's a nice night here, and it's staying that way. You're starting to get into a little bit of that fall weather where it gets a little cooler at night. I think I went out this morning. It was like 48 degrees at 7 o'clock this morning. We're still in the high 50s here, not too far removed from where we started, but a far cry from where we were about a month ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you think about 4 weeks ago when we were here, week 1, or I guess it's 5 weeks ago now, week 1, it was humid and hot at this time of the night against North Schuylkill.
And it looks like it's number 12, Zoe Starr, for the Panthers. So you get a couple Panthers come over to help out a teammate. Looks like Haran and Frey. And the Panthers up.
That's always good to see.
So we put the ball back in play here. Again, it'll be a minute 46 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Red Tornadoes lead 69-20 over the visiting Bloomsburg Panthers here on homecoming night.
We'll see when we get back to play here. It's a 2nd and 9 for the Big Red.
Talked about how the Red Tornadoes are heading out to Midwest next week. Panthers will go back home to face Warrior Run. As Berezovsky seems like a lot going on here, and we're getting flags late.
Yeah.
This one, so we'll stop the clock again here with a minute 24.
And I mean, that's going to be...
Yeah, that's going to be a 15-yard dead ball foul against the Red Tornadoes. And so it's very possible the thing that I said about the Red Tornadoes not getting back on defense may not come to fruition now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are tough because those are happening away from the ball.
Right. Right.
And you can tell by Coach Dara's reaction, he's not very happy about that. So it'll be 3rd. I've done a lot of math tonight, Dan. It's 3rd and a lot.
Yeah, third and a long way.
So Marshall will just hand it to Berezovsky, who's going to be flung down in the backfield again by number 69, Braxton Martinez.
And looks like the Red Tornadoes are just going to have to punt this ball, and that might be the end of it.
Yeah, I don't know that we're going to get away with.
They're going to have to punt this.
Right?
Yeah.
Not 13 yards.
Yeah.
Or 13 seconds, excuse me.
Yeah.
And so in kind of an interesting night for the Red Tornadoes, it's been so good. It's been such an overpowering performance. It's going to end with a 4th and 31.
Right. And maybe not.
And yet another penalty for an illegal substitution.
And I mean, how are you going to get penalized for legal substitution? You don't substitute unless you had 12 men on the field.
But isn't 12 men on the field top of your head?
Yes.
That was why I was confused.
Yeah.
Because
right.
I thought the official was standing there with Karicki counting and telling me we had too many guys on the field.
Yeah.
Motioned illegal substitution. Now it's a low snap. Karicki gets a nice punt off. It's going to bounce in front of Whedon. He'll let it just go. Morganti will down it with 9.9 seconds left on the clock. And so barring a penalty or any other stoppage, this should likely be the last play of the night.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
And 42, Bobby Shoppy out there. I don't know that I've seen him on defense yet tonight.
No, I don't think so. I think you're right.
Shellhammer will head back out there. And once they set the ball in play, by nature of the running clock, the game has ended. So the Red Tornadoes are victorious 69-20 and get themselves above the 500 prior to a Week 6 matchup with Midwest.
Yes.
Important to note, at Midwest.
Yes, at Midwest. You're right. And that's a reminder to all the Red Tornado faithful out there. that it is a long drive. So like Jim mentioned earlier, leave early or watch the game with us on redtornadofootball.com. I mean, there's many ways to play.
Listen, if you know how to find it through YouTube, then just do that.
Yeah.
I always like the link on redtornadofootball.com. I can't find Jose. I'm curious if he had to go get a new pen because he ran out of ink.
It's a possibility.
But it's been a great night here at the Silver Bowl. Again, homecoming, 69-20. Red Tornadoes, we talked a little bit about. They got points from everywhere. Everybody and anybody got out there tonight. We had the three scores from Diaz, 2 from Blessing, 2 from Belichick, 2 from Kricki, and 1 from Morganti. So it was a great night. The Red Tornadoes started fast. They stayed strong. And got out of here with a much-needed victory and a really, I don't want to call it a tone set, but it's almost like a palate cleanser.
Yes.
As opposed to last week.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's a good way to kind of put it. I think that's exactly what we needed, or what the Red Tornadoes needed, was to come out, dominate offensively, and just play lights out defensively as they had the last couple of weeks, and put together a good showing here on homecoming night with the alumni here, with the youth football players here, with the homecoming court here. I mean, it was all around a great night here for the Red Tornadoes, on and off the field.
And again, as we said, it'll be Coach Dara and his staff's responsibility this week to get the team prepared for yet another road trip, right? And I say yet another. Of course, you have three and 6 weeks like anybody else.
Yeah.
But the drive out to Midwest the same way, whatever they did, whatever the coaching staff did to prep this team to go up to Dunmore. We talked about 85 miles away.
Yeah.
I don't know that Midwest is 85 miles away, but it's just as long on the bus at least.
And it's more, it's not interstate driving
right.
to get to Midwest either. So it might be a longer ride, time wise.
So that'll be what we look for next week, and I think we've done enough, Dan.
Yeah,
I think it's about time we go ahead and get out of here. So I'm Jim Lesko.
And I'm Dan Lesko.
For Jose Gonzalo, this has been a WKMC TV broadcast sponsored by Catino Vino, in which the Red Tornadoes emerged victorious 69-20 over the visiting Bloomsburg Panthers. Next week, the Red Tornadoes travel to Midwest, as we stated, and we certainly hope you make the trip, but if not, spend your Friday night with us. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.